Hey guys, Trin here again. Today I'm going to go over a save system, a game save system that I decided to make, and um, it's got a few different features, and so um, I'll just kind of show you a little bit about how it works, and then I'll go into it. So basically, it has a menu system that starts with right here, where you can either create a new game or you can load a game. And then when you select a new game, it's going to take you into a section to place a name in and create a character. You can also hit back, and it has the ability to determine whether or not you're putting in bad words, um, and or if the name already exists. Um, and so it can hold up to 5 save slots. And so if you try to name a character with the same name as one of the previously recorded slots, it's just going to deny that. And this little red box is going to pop up, and it's going to tell it basically meaning you can't do it. So create a different name. And it also has, I also have the panel, which is this panel is where it stacks the names once you do have some saved slots. So let's go back into here. There are a few big functions that do things like um, create the player, create a new player, which is going to go through all the trouble of determining whether or not the box is empty when you entered in information, or whether or not it has any of the bad words in it that are in this list. And so if that happens, it's going to fail. If it has bad words, it's going to fail. If it's contained in the previously saved data, um, it's going to fail. And this is actually loading data. This loads a save game file, like a game data file, which is basically every time I save out, I have I have a player save, and then I have a game save, and the game save records all of the player information, like records all of the players, and the player save records the information for that player. And so I load in the game save to find out what players exist, so it can actually check against the input in the incoming text, and then it does its does its checking and stuff, and then it's saying, once it determines that everything's good, it'll apply the character name, add it to the save count array, and then it'll save the actual player game, and then it'll save the game data again, and then it loads all that data to the menu. And it's also only if you have less than 5 slots being used already. So that's a pretty major function there. The the other stuff is like I have some things for like loading the list of saves, and I have the basic save game, load game functions. They're all passing in data and different things like that. Load game passes the data back to the player. The save game passes it to the save player save object. I have different functions that receive the data and pass it into the actual variables for each one. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play and run that, and you'll kind of see. Right now there shouldn't be any saves at all, so um, it's going to basically ask me if I want to create a new save, because it's not going to be able to load a game. It's just going to tell me that there is no game there. And so I can new game, and I'm going to show you how this works. Since it has detection for bad words, I'm actually gonna do. Let's do shadow. Let's just do that, right? And it's gonna say no, you can't do that because it's got a bad word in it, right? But if I did shadow, or if I did, let's try Sam. Let's try that. Nope. See, so I can do basically any word I want, but if I put a bad word into it, it's not going to let me. If I do my actual names, let's try my name, for example. This will work. and it'll load me in, and it'll load the name up to your bar or to your character information, and then I can go in and I can hit experience and level myself up a little bit if I want to, and I can go in and keep doing that, right? And then uh, I have it set up so that I can press I and open up a save game option in the pause menu, and then I can save the game. It gives me a little green light basically saying, yeah, the save was successful, it did that, everything worked. And then I can go back and I can hit escape, and then I can hit play again, and I'll open it back up again. And now I can go to load because there is a game file that actually has that name. And if I don't want to do that, I can go ahead and just make a new name. So let's just try making another name, and this time I'm just going to make it Shadow Force. And I'm going to go ahead and create that. And now Shadow Force is here. And I'm going to give Shadow Force a little bit of XP. I'm going to go ahead and save him, and then I'm going to hit escape. And then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to make, this time I'm just going to make a basic name like Sam, and hit enter. And I'm going to let Sam stay at level 1. I'm not going to give him any XP, but I'm going to hit escape and do it again. So now we have 3 players, right? We have Trin, Shadow Force, and Sam. And let's just fill it up. So make sure that I show you that it doesn't allow you to put more than 5 in. So let's do Tim, and let's also do let's do Dan. I don't know. I lacking terms of names here. Um, so we've got 5 people now that are logged in as players for this game and that have save files. And so now when we go back and we hit play, we can load from any of those uh, previous people. And so because none of the other people had any information, right? Let's just go back to Trin and load Trin, and then you'll see that Trin is level 3, has 24 experience, and has all this information. And then we're going to go back and we're going to give Trin a little bit more. We're going to go to level 4, and then we're going to hit save. And then we're going to exit the game again, and we're going to go back in, and we're going to load Shadow Force. Shadow Force is level 1 and had a little bit of experience, so let's go ahead and give him some more. So level 2 now, and go ahead and save, and then escape, and let's go back to Trin, and you'll see that Trin is now still level 4, and the information is still all there. He still has that. The other ones are all going to be still level 1 because they never did anything. We didn't do anything with Sam. We didn't do anything with Dan. We didn't do anything with Tim. But if we did, it would store that information as long as we saved the game, right? And then let's load Tim again. See, Tim is level 1 with 16 experience. So let's do that with Dan as well. Let's give him some, and let's level him up to level 3, and then we'll come back in and show you that it works. And then let's go here, save, escape, and then if we go in to try to load Dan again, he's still going to be level 3, 10 experience. Now, just so you can see that it won't let me put any more in, here is if I try to do a 6th person. It's basically limited to 5, so it's not going to let me make this person. So it's basically going to say no. So let's name this guy Paul, and then we'll hit enter, and it says no, basically, right? Can't do it. You can't create a new name because we've already reached our maximum. So if we go back and we hit load, we still have our 5 characters there, but we cannot enter anymore because we've only got a limit of 5 save slots for this particular game or whatever. So that's kind of like basically the short setup of the system that I made. It's like a basic simplistic save system that allows you to keep track of the information. And if there was other information that I wanted to store aside from my here, let's go back to it. If there was other information that I wanted to save aside from this stuff right here, which is a name, level, experience, that stuff, I would just stick that in here. And this thing could go and get extended and get extended and get extended, and it would pass all the information through, and it would keep doing that. So basically, I would have to update this. I would also have to update the load game one, um, with the new, whatever. Excuse me, with whatever lines we were patching through to it, um, and then it would store all that information. I could store the location of the players. So for every player that we had there, if I was moving them around, we could store where they were. So I can just put them right back to where they were. I can store their rotation. I could store whatever I want. So that way, it's like you've got that ability to completely have a persistent game, um, and and allow your game to keep track of the different players, right? And the way that I do that is mostly with the two different save systems. So I have a let's go back here. I have I have a game data save and I have a player data save. And so there are two different functions. There is save game, which is one of the ones we looked at, I think. Maybe not, but it is basically creating a player data save object and passing all the information to the player data save, and then it's assigning the character name, and appending it with save slot underscore. So every character gets a save slot underscore and then the character name, and that's what that file ends up looking like out in the actual game. So I'm going to go pull that up real quick. So here is what the actual files look like. Here's save slot Dan, save slot Sam, Shadow Force, Tim, and Trin, and then the game data file, which is the one that holds the fact that these other players exist. The game data file is all it really has right now is an array, and the array is, let's go into save game data. So save game data passes in my saves count, and so it keeps track of how many saves exist in this game, like how many players have been saved, and that's what's used to check against whether or not there are other players with those names, or do we have 5 players already saved, all that information. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much my save game system. And as always, if you please comment, like, and subscribe. And if you do like the video, or if you want to see more information about this, let me know. And I'll, like I always say, I'm willing to do tutorials on these things, as long as I get requests for them, and that you guys request that you guys be patient, because I don't have a lot of time to always make tutorial videos. But um, uh, yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little showcase of my save game system. See you guys next time.